Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kathy Zhang from 1Office Sweden accounting team. Today, I will give you a short overview of our company, and then I will focus on 1Office Sweden accounting team. What can you benefit from our new program? Okay, now let's start. And by the way, you can have some questions, so you can write down your question on the chat screen. And at the end, I can read your question and answer all the questions. First, let's say 1Office, we offer business service. We mainly support entrepreneurs doing business abroad. We today have 6 offices, one in Estonia, in Sweden, in Finland, United Kingdom, Lithuania, and Latvia. We provide full service from start a company to routine accounting. We have strong knowledge about how to start and run and grow business in different countries. As I said, we have 6 offices in the world, and here you can see when did we start. The Estonia office is our head office, and our Swedish office is start from 2011. Our clients is come from more than 70 different countries, so we have wide experience in different countries. What kind of service do we provide? We have a virtual office, company information, accounting service, and legal service. Now I will focus to the accounting service. Accounting service in Sweden. Before I start, I want to remind all of you that every limited company registered in Sweden have to submit this annual report to Bolagsverket, that is the Swedish Business Commercial Office. This one should be submitted to them within 6 months later your official year ended. So if you have the calendar year as your financial year, so you should submit this in this one to Bolagsverket at latest 21st July. And also, this is mandatory to all of the limited companies, aktiebolag. And also this annual tax declaration, this one should be submitted to the tax office. This is the annual income tax declaration. And this one is also have, if you have the online access to submit those declarations, so you have also 7 months to prepare this declaration. But if you don't have the online access, so you have to submit it in this one within 6 months by paper. So we have sent out all of the, we have sent our client the performer about this service. You can check it if you don't, if you want our help with this, just contact us. So just a reminder, don't forget the deadline, because if you miss the deadline, you have to pay the penalty to both of the office. And then come back to our accounting service in Sweden. We provide daily bookkeeping declaration. Here the declaration is the payroll employer declaration and the VAT declaration. And also you have the possible to get the access to our program. With this program, with this access, you can check your financial report and create invoice. You can also download the app from the App Store, and then you can check your reports from your mobile. It's easier. And also, the automation is the hot topic in our accounting field. So we have to prepare for this digitizing. Our new program and service include this digitizing progress. And back to our accounting program. With our accounting program, you have the possible to create a sales invoice to check your financial report and archive your documents. Our program is easy, accessible, professional, and it meets your every requirement. Before you can get the access, you have to contact your accountant. This is very important. Contact your accountant to get the access, and which access do you want. You should give your name, first name and last name, and also your email address to your accountant. Then we can set up an account for you. After we setting up your account, then you will receive an email from the Visma. Visma is our program supplier. So you'll receive the email direct from them. And by that link, you can create your own password. The password has a strict requirement. You have to has at least one capital letter and include several numbers and also have symbols. After you get your user set up, so you can log into your program easily from our website. Now I will show you our program and how can you see from our program. Now here you come to our website, and then here you can see login. Choose the Swedish accounting. With your user is your postal address and the password. The first page you will see this one, and click Visma Online. Then you probably get two access. Those are two programs. This one is to create invoice. This one is to check the report. I will first show you how to check the report, how it looks like. Just click it. And then you get the first page. Before you start, you can see your information, your company information, and change the language. It's default by Swedish, but you can change it to English. Then we come all by English. And the first page, you can see everything your company status directly from this page, and easier to read. You can understand the sales cost and the revenue, everything here. And the report, there are 3 reports. This one KPI report is for some financial risks. If you are interested in those risks, so you can have a look here. But I will mainly focus on this income statement and balance sheet. Here, if you don't do any truth, so this is the general ledger. You see everything is on general. And if you want to see everything detailed, you can just click here, showing accounts. So you get the detailed accounts information. And here you can choose the date, which month you want it to be. Now it's March, it should be ready. And then you got those reports. For example, you are interested in this account, what happened, why this is so high sales, you want to say what are they, so you just click here and you get the information, you click this watch number, and you can even see those how we register this, how much the VAT is it, and you can also have the possible to see the document. Each transaction should have a document, so if there are, so we will attach it here, so you can have a look here. This is the income statement, and here is the accumulated amount. This is for each month. You can also have it only by March, and you can compare the last year's March and this year's March, so they have the comparison. Also, the balance sheet. The balance sheet is similar with this income statement, so it's the same. If you're interested in anything, you just click them. You can see the transactions. Back to the head. So this is the budget and forecast. Here is possible to create your own budget. You just give a name, for example, and choose the financial year. It should be based on the last period. And then you can create, you think maybe you planned it should be increased 10% or 5% or something. You just put what you preferred. Just create. Then you get a budget. So have a look. And you can compare with your current income statement to see whether you have finished your budget or not. You can also change it or delete. So what else you want. Here, document, you have the you can fill in all of your documents here, so you don't need to keep everything in paper. You can choose one document and upload here, and we accountant also can look at your document, or if we have any document, we can also share your document here. So it's possible and easier to have control over all of your documents. Yes, so this is all about this report program. And now then I will show you how can you create the invoice. You can either click here to the with my economy, or you just get back to this with my online and click with my economy. This one is to create the sales invoice. Just keep in mind, if you want to have the access, those two access, contact your accountant because they have different access to choose. So you should first contact your accountant, then we can set up everything for you. If you go to this with my economy, so you probably get those two choose, but you can only choose this one. Those two is the most you should use. It's similar like this overshift. You can change it to the English. And yes, it's the sales. Those two options is the most you will use. If you have a customer, you want to send the invoice, first you maybe register your customer. We can register together for a company. This number is automatic. You don't need to pay attention. Then, for example, we have a company. Those fields with this part, you have to fill in, otherwise it can't be continue. And before you can create a sales invoice, you have to have a bank account. This bank account, it doesn't matter is abroad bank account, it's not a local Swedish bank, but at least you should have a bank account and provide the IBAN number so that we register your bank information, then you can come to create the invoice. Here address, I hope I suggest or recommend you always write the address. We can choose this. For example, we take this address. If you fill in this postcode, it will automatic. But if it's abroad from another country, maybe you can't get this auto. So you should fill in by yourself and choose the country. And you can choose which language you want this invoice by, Swedish or English, only these two options. And here is quite important that you have to keep in mind that if you have a customer, this customer is from another EU country, you have to fill in this VAT number. It's obligation, you have to fill it because we need to submit a special declaration for those EU sales. If you don't fill in VAT number here, we can't get that report. And if it's EU customers, you maybe need also click here VAT reverse VAT. that's applied for EU customers. And the other, you can here change the payment terms, how long this payment should be paid. You can change, we can only have this choice, you can change. Currency is also which currency do you want this invoice in? It can be a lot of option you can have. And here you can choose, I have already registered for bank for this customer. So you can choose if you register any bank account, so you can choose here. Usually is a premier option account. And then this is everything you can save. After you register your customer, you can send the invoice to them. You come to the sales invoice and the new sales invoice. Here you can find your customer you already registered. For example, if you first step come to the sales invoice, you create invoice, but you find there are some customer you haven't registered, so you have also chance register here. It will be the same page, so that's why you register your customer. So it's the same. We use this one we have already registered. So the invoice date will be default today's date. Due date is already come with 7 days payment terms. And here you can write whatever your reference, your customer's reference, whatever you prefer to write here. And then come to the article. There will be a default article is this one. The others is what I created already. So this one is the default article. So you probably need to have a new article here, and you can give whatever the name you want. And here is very important you choose. We have several different choice here. It's important that you choose correct with correct VAT rate, with correct goods or service. This is very important because I can show you this one is at the back is connect to our accounting to different accounts. So you have to choose this one correct. I have already created one. This is I choose. We have a look at this one. I choose the service 25% VAT. So it's done. So everything is here. Here you can also change the name or whatever, because sometimes your customer want to show something here. So you just service. You just write what they preferred, and the quantity here. The price. Here, if the customer is a company, so the price you write here is the price exclusive VAT. You can see you write the price exclusive VAT and they get the price plus the VAT. But if you have a customer that is a private individual, for example, this one, everything you write here, it will become the price include the VAT. So you have every time when you create an invoice, you have to pay attention to the total price, how much exactly it will be. But if you think it's too annoying, you have to distinguish the private or the company. So you want everything here you put, it can be include or can be exclude VAT. You just contact your accountant because we can make some changes for you. So it's also possible for the individual. This here you put, it can be also the price without VAT. But you need to say to your accountant. Let's continue. Here you can also attach some document you want to show to your customer, because sometimes they maybe want to have some detailed information what this invoice included. So you can give them extra information here. Just attach your document. After you can absolutely add a lot of line, but if it's enough with one for this invoice, and then We can first have a preview of this invoice. This probably your invoice will look like. So here show all of your company's information. This looks like this. After you create this invoice here, you have several options. First, we recommend you, when you create the first invoice, we recommend you save it as draft, because when you save it as draft, it's just a draft. Then our accountant can help you first have a look at everything is okay. You have done a good, correct way. Otherwise, we can try save it as draft. Then it will come to the draft, and then you can open it. It's still here, and you can send it to direct by email or create a PDF. Maybe you'll send it by paper. Or here is another option via auto invoice. This one is not possible for all clients, all your customers. It's only possible when your customer can accept the auto invoice. If you send by this via auto invoice, so it means this invoice will direct to your customer's accounting program. As you can always, maybe this one is the main choice we will choose by email or create a PDF. If you create by email, so you just write the email address, and here is a standard information, but you can change everything. Okay, just if you send it and create it, so it should be appear here because it's until unpaid. After your invoice was paid, transferred to your bank account, then it can be showing. It's also showing here after it's paid, so there will be showing nothing. But right now, I just save it as a draft because this is only an example. This is mainly how you create your sales invoice. And then after the sales invoice, so there are also some of the purchase invoice. You maybe also need those to be automatically. There are two, actually, well, our program provides two options you can have. First, like I just said for this sales invoice, you can accept your purchase invoice by this e-invoice, that's auto invoice. If you accept receive your invoice by this way, so your supplier will send your invoice direct to our accounting program. So our accountant, they can read your invoice direct in the program, and everything will match automatically. We accountants don't need to do anything, any more job. And also, but some of it's easier right now. Also recommend that send the invoice with PDF to this auto invoice post address. This post address consists with your organization's number. It starts with 5 and is consists 10 numbers at autoinvoice.ic. But those auto invoices are sent to this auto invoice email. This can be only accessible for Swedish and English invoices. If your invoice is in another language at the moment, the program can't read in your invoice. But if you need every those service, you have to first talk with your accountant. Then we can active your auto invoice service. This is for the purchase invoice. Also, there are some of the purchase receipts. You buy something and pay direct and get those receipts. It's also possible to take a picture and those receipts directly to our accounting program. You can go to App Store and download this Visma scanner. After that, you log in and choose this Visma e-accounting. log in with your user, and then you get this Visma scanner, and you can take the picture. For example, this receipt. You can after you take picture, it will read all the information about this receipt. You can add a comment here, what this is for, what's the connection to the business, and also it's possible to change the amount, because sometimes maybe the scanner doesn't work good and they have read the wrong amount. So you want to correct the amount here, so it's also possible. And after everything is correct, you just send it to the program, and our accountant, they will then read this receipt in the program directly. You don't need to send to us by email anymore. This is also easier for us, for our job. Yes, I think now is all about our accounting service and the program. I will look at your questions if there are any. Yes, currently our program is only support for Swedish and English. That I showed. You can choose it by logging in to your user. Then, as the first step, you can choose the language. For our Swedish accounting service, today we have a service by English, Swedish, and Estonia. You can, if you have special language requirement, you can, as a first step, contact the sales, say which language, which accountant do you want to have. So it's possible for these three languages. Okay, there's a question asked whether it's possible to get a manual about today's webinar. We will send out this webinar to all of our accounts, and absolutely you will get our presentation PPT. Here's a question. Do all who join the accounting service get a personal accountant? Yes, when you start start the accounting service, we will give you a special individual accountant to your companies, and then we will contact you. So that person become your contact person in accounting. Here's a question. Is it possible to have the invoice which I created itself is in English and not in Swedish? Yes, you can choose the invoice by English. There's only two options. You can choose it by English or Swedish. If we come back to this customer, for example, when you register your customer here, you can choose the English or Swedish, only those two options right now. Anyone else have any questions? So you can write down here. Otherwise, we can continue. So if you have any questions about our accounting service, anything about our Swedish apartment, so you can just contact Stockholm at 1Office call. And thanks for today's joining us. Thank you. Then bye.